Hi everyone, and welcome to a book review for The Tower. This is by W.B. Yeats. I'm guessing. I could be very wrong with how to pronounce that. So this is a collection of poetry, and this particular edition is the Penguin Clothbound edition. And the cover has just a bunch of dogs running across a field. I don't know if they're chasing a star or a ball or what, but just a bunch of dogs. At least I'm assuming they're dogs. I guess they could be wolves, but I'm assuming dogs. So this was originally published in 1928. One thing I did find interesting is that with some of these poems, they do have the year it was published for the particular poem. Like here's one that was published in 1926, or maybe it was written and finished in 1926, and that's The Tower. There's one from 1927 and some from 1928. I will be keeping it, but it'll be a bit before I read it again. So I gave it 2 stars. I'm trying, generally in the past I would have probably just given it 3 stars saying it was okay. But here's the thing, if I don't understand, now I know that poetry can be very subjective. But if I don't understand quite a bit of it, there's really nothing for me to conclude with what was being said, because I'm not understanding anything, so I don't know what is being said. Now, the reason it's a 2-star is there are a few little bits that I did understand. Will I be able to find the bits right now that I understood? No. There was one where I wish I could find it so that I could read it to you. But I don't think I'll be able to. But it was like 4 or 5 lines. Oh, here it is. Okay. So let me just read this little bit to you, because this is, I fully understood. Now there are a couple of other phrases and sentences that I did understand the meaning of, and that's why it's getting a 2-star. There's a little bit, but most of it I did not understand. Now I think as my reading evolves and I start to understand certain things a little differently, then I may understand this more, and so in the future, which may raise the rating up to a 3-star, if I understand it and like what I'm understanding. So this little snippet, it's called The Mermaid. I obviously understood this. So it says, a mermaid found a swimming lad, picked him for her own, pressed her body to his body, laughed and plunged down, forgot in cruel happiness that even lovers drown. Obviously, at least for me, that was very simple to understand, but I understood it. Again, there are a few other phrases throughout this book that I did understand. It is very short. It was 63 pages. I do look forward to reading it in the future to see if my understanding of the rest of the poems grows and I understand even more. But because there's very little that I understood compared to all 63 pages, that's why it's a 2-star. So in this particular case, the 2-star is not a bad rating. I do think it was well written. I did take a class in high school about poetry. Do I remember a lot about it? I had to write some poems, but I don't remember. This was my senior year of high school. So in 2002 is when I took the class. So it's been 20 years. Holy cow, it's been 20 years since I will have graduated this June. Wow. Wow. Okay. Oh, I just made myself feel a little older, but okay. So what I do remember from that class is that poems don't always have to be succinct and rhyme every single time, especially with every single line. So there are different ways. Now, part of the misunderstanding that I had with this is it was hard to get the rhythm of the poems. Even when I was trying to read some of them out loud, it was hard to get that rhythm because I wasn't understanding what was being said. So I think, again, as my reading evolves, then I will understand more of this and be able to catch on to that a little bit more, especially as I try to read more poetry, because I do want to read more poetry. I do want to get into poetry. It's just very intimidating, because that is my fear, is that I'm going to get a book where I don't understand anything. But I think as I I think that's definitely one of the things with more practice, I'll be able to pick up on things more. So this is very much a me issue and not a book issue. I really did like the one with the mermaid, the little 5 lines there. But I think as I read more poetry and start to understand certain phrases and other things a little bit more, and the rhythm, because poetry does have a distinct rhythm, and that rhythm can change with each poem. But I think as I start to evolve with my understanding of poetry, I will enjoy this one a lot more. So I can definitely feel and see the potential in this, and I definitely look forward to understanding it quite a bit more in the future. So I will definitely hold on to this and read this again. I think this is definitely one I may hold off for at least, maybe a year or two before I try and read it again. Just to give myself more of a base to try and expand that understanding a little bit more. But again, 2 stars. In this particular case, it is not bad at all. It's just an indication that I did not understand a lot of it. So that's all that rating means. And I believe I did explain that on Goodreads for anyone that goes to read the review on Goodreads. So yeah, so there's that. So that's The Tower by W.B. Yeats. But yeah, so now some of the poems, I will say too, did seem a little long, but I think they felt that they dragged because I didn't understand it. So that'll be it for this review. If you've read poems by this author, definitely let me know if you liked it. But until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.